Hello and welcome to the African Descendant Forum. We hope our programmes inform, educates, entertains and brings motivation and aspiration to the present and future generations within the African diaspora. Today we celebrate Ashbrow Garage in Huddersfield, West Yorkshire, England. Ashbrow Garage has been running 45 years. It was established by Johnny Flowers in 1976 and it remains under the same family ownership to date. Johnny's motivation of running his own business was his legacy to his son, Robert Andrew Flowers. The business has an excellent reputation with many loyal and well-satisfied customers as documented, for example, on the Auto Trader website, where it states 93% of customers gave Ashbrow Garage a 5-star rating with no negative feedback. Ashbrow Garage prides itself on its high standing in the motor vehicle industry, having steadily built a stellar reputation over the past 45 years. Today I will be speaking to Robert Andrew Flowers, Company Director. Hello Robert.
Hello.
And welcome to ADF. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak to me today. I'm looking forward to hearing from your experiences running your family business. Before we get into learning more about you and Ashbrow Garage, let's take a look at this short clip of your dad, Johnny, talking about business.
I wanted to set up a business in here because before I left Jamaica, we were running a business, so I understand what running a business was like, and I wanted to do that. And before that, I had now conditioned and have a lot of customers. Being one of the only black mechanic in Huddersfield, most of the immigrants that was here was now giving me their jobs to do their car. And I started doing the jobs, started working on the cars. And it was getting really hectic for me because at the buses, Yorkshire Ride, I was working 8 hours a day and I'd come home and I was on shift. So when I was on shift in the morning, I'd come to work at 2 o'clock. I'd probably stayed till 10 at night and I was just working in a shed, a little lock-up garage. This was more than a garage. It was a meeting point for the West Indians. And not only men, women used to come as well. The wives used to come to look for them at the garage and play heck on them because they were away all day and they didn't know where they were. But most time they know they were at Johnny's at the garage, Johnny's Garage. And we have a smashing time, you know. And there weren't a lot of prejudice on there because there were lots of English people, English lad who came to the garage as well. So at that stage, I wouldn't think, there were sort of prejudices, but it wasn't obvious, you know, because lots of other people. The fellow who I got the garage from, Arnold Sykes, was a lovely man. He's the one I could say who sets me up in the garage, Arnold Sykes, and he used to live at the Rock and Hall side. During this time, I had a family, a son and 2 daughters. And one of my great aspirations was that I didn't want these kids to struggle and like I struggled. So my ambition at the time, my aspiration was to have something for them so that they would start from a better position than I started from. So, and that's give me the energy and the attitude to work. That's the thing, the driving factor, that I would leave them a legacy so that they would survive at a better stage than I am. Yeah, I now approve of the legacy. I think I have set a legacy. And I felt good about it. If there's anything I feel proud about, it's a legacy that I've left. And Robert has done exceedingly well. It is now truly a family business. And he's renowned. It's not anymore just Johnny's Garage. It's Mr. Flowers and Robert Garage. Most people now refer to the garage as Robert. They don't even see me as a part of it. But then that's what I wanted. That's what I thought was legacy. And I do hope other parents would follow my example and realize that having a business is not just for yourself, it's for the people behind you. because had I sold this business, it's really good business, it would be out of the family and they wouldn't have a job in it. So I am really sincerely proud of it.
Welcome back to the ADF. Robert, how do you feel having watched that clip?
Well, it's very emotional to watch that, to hear my father's thoughts, to hear how he feels about myself, about the business. I understand it and I've lived with it for many, many years, but I've never really heard it. That's the first time I've heard his own words, his own feelings, and it's an honour to be part of Ashbrow Garage. He says Robert Flowers. I don't say that. I think Ashbrow Garage. That's what it is, and that's what we all are.
Lovely. Yes.
Yeah.
And I understand you studied at university to become a computer scientist.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. As a computer scientist, Robert, how has that knowledge and skills assisted you in running your family business?
Well, being a graduate, firstly, ensured that I was able to be, I was confident that I could learn anything. The fact it was in computer science is because I'm quite a logically minded, analytical person who likes to look at numbers, figures, and work out solutions. And a lot of business, I've found, is doing exactly that. You have to look at the situation, do the numbers, do the calculations, and work out the best way to resolve or to go forward or to plan.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it seems like you like to work in a methodical way, have things written down and have instructions. Definitely.
Too much, my father says, but that's my skill, is the numbers.
That's great. How did you feel coming into the family business?
My father is got quite an aura around him, is quite a powerful and strong person, and being underneath him, it can be quite frustrating because, you know, you can't get your point out, you can't get your views out, but then at the same time, when I look back now, I didn't really know anything. My views were really just guesses that I think might work or might not work. But because he was willing to listen and at least consider, then over time, my views became more valuable.
Right.
I couldn't come in on day one and dictate how things should be, and I look back now and say that was correct, that was right. However, just having that open ear to listen to me, and over time, as I became more and more confident, being able to execute some of those ideas was paramount, I would say.
Great. The business in general, products, services, and direction, etc., had already been planned out. This can be convenient, but sometimes a frustration. What has been your experience? Well,
in my experience, I guess I came into the business as a graduate who had his own ideas. However, you can't change anything or suggest anything until you understand how it works at the moment, and it would be crazy to change something that's working. So it took quite a while to understand how the business worked, what it did, what it didn't do, and a period of baptism actually understanding it all, until as time passed, then I was able to add more to it and decide and make choices or make suggestions of how to improve, what other directions to take. It would have been crazy for me to come in and say, no, we're doing it all wrong, Dad. This is how it should be. I had no experience. I was a child who was a graduate, but I was still a child with no business experience, no business acumen. That takes time and experience, and you have to give it a chance. You have to spend your time, you have to do your apprenticeship, really, to understand how it all works together, and then you're in a better position to make suggestions to improve it or to go in new directions if need be.
And during that time then of your sort of, could call it your induction period, who actually took you through that period? Was it your father or was somebody else in the company?
There's lots of people. My father's the lead, but he did quite cleverly, I would say now, make sure I interface with other people around him, his generals, his right-hand man, Septi, who was like a second dad to me, and other people in the trade who he knew and respected, who would say, just take my son, show him what you do, guide him, give him some direction. And taking that information from all these different people is really what made me who I am today, because I got a wealth of knowledge directed towards me, which I was then able to use to our own benefit, and hopefully to others who come after us.
Sounds like a very, very rewarding experience. Other family members may be overbearing and controlling. This can be frustrating for you as you want to move quickly with your own ideas. How do you manage conflict within a family business?
Very carefully. It isn't straightforward, because you have to bear in mind that the people that you're talking to are not just colleagues, they're actually your family, quite a lot of them. And the one thing that I would say is a big benefit, a massive benefit, has been the fact that when it's your family, in particular my father, I do know that we may be in conflict, we may disagree, but we both love each other and have the ultimate trust in each other. So he's not going to suggest anything that's going to damage me, and vice versa. So you may disagree, you may argue, you may fight, but the reality is we both want the same thing. We just want them different ways, and we just have to find a way to respect each other's thoughts, wishes, ideas, and come to the best solution.
Your business structure then, you said it's mainly a family. What's the actual mix to non-family members?
Probably 30-40% family, 30% of the staff are family, 60-70% are not family. It varies. If anything, the non-family ratio increases as we grow, because you can't grow your family. Well, you can grow your family, but it takes 20 years before you can get another one in
to nurture them.
to nurture them and get them through school and university and so forth. But to be honest with you, the staff in our business are all pretty much family. We've got people who've worked there for 40 years, 10 years, 15 years. People have worked with us twice, 3 times and come back. Our staff are like families, so it doesn't really, blood is there, but even without the blood, they're still our brothers and sisters, are all our staff.
That's good to hear. Being part of your family business, carrying on the legacy, can be very exciting, and it can be thrilling to pass the torch, also taking the business to its next level. What preparations have you made for succession planning in your business? Well,
I guess I've had a good leader in my father, who's now more than ever I can appreciate some of the things that he suggested and did along the way. In my business, or in our business I should say, both my children, my son and my daughter, are both working with the business now, and I like to think now that they both are mature enough to understand what the benefits can be, what the fruitions can be down the line, and how it can support not just themselves but the family, which is what I realised coming out of university, but that was just me. Now I have 2 children over there, and the net is getting wider and wider all the way along. They can support more people, they can help more people, and they can help themselves while they're doing it.
And so, do you think that, having your children working there on a day-to-day basis, do they get treated any different to anybody else, or do they get special privileges?
I should say no, but it probably is yes, because they are my children. But in reality, it is a business. It has to work, and yes, they're my children. Yes, you're always going to love your children, do everything for them, but they have to perform. They have to do what needs to be done. If anything, they have to do more than what needs to be done, because they've got a deeper interest in it. They need it to survive, they can't just as easily, like a member of staff can say, right, I've finished today, I'm going to change my job. That will be changing their life, not just their job, and affecting a lot of their families. So the responsibilities are stronger, I believe, when you're a family member, because you think about more than just yourself. You think about your family and the implication of what you do on your family.
Yes, very true. And have you actually put, you know, your ideas on a system, or sort of drawn up a family charter who may succeed yourself? You know, when you decide you want to step down from the leadership role?
I really believe that my own honest belief is whoever wants to step up and take the realm, they're more than welcome. It's not for me to dictate who should do it. It's the person who wants to do it. Because if you don't want to do it, it's going to be very difficult. I've got a lot of family in the business, and they've all got a serious interest in it as well. So anybody who wants to step up, and there are people who are showing, you know, those signs, they're more than welcome. I'm just there to guide them, help them, and hopefully make sure that we can continue for another 45 years. Although I won't be around for 45 years, but I'll get them on the way.
Taking on the family business and reflecting back on your journey, did you feel under pressure at times, or has it been an enjoyable experience?
It's been a fantastic experience. I would never have thought when I left university at 21, 22, whatever it was, that 35 years later, or whatever, how many years, I'd have worked all those years with my father. I've seen more of my father in the last 30 years than I did in the first 20 years. Working with him every day, seeing him every day, watching him grow older. I'm truly blessed, and not only my father, but the rest of the staff, the rest of my family being around. You can't put that into words, the satisfaction that gives you. And you can't predict it either. I can only say I've lived it, and there's nothing I would have changed in that. Even the arguments, and the good times and the bad times, it's really, really been a blessed time, a blessed period.
It sounds like a really nice business to work, you know, working and work for.
Yeah, definitely.
What has been your greatest achievement or accomplishment so far?
Never been asked that question before. I would think to continue the start that my father set up, really. Starting the business, setting it up, becoming established, coming into that business, and now 30 years on, being able to say the business is still there, it's stronger than ever, it's in a position to continue going forward. Don't think anything can really eclipse that, being able to help and support so many people. Not just myself and my wife and my children and my family, but the staff and their families, the customers and their families, being there for all those people for all those years. Never thought about before, but it is a really satisfying achievement to be able to be there for people.
It sounds like a big responsibility as well,
Yeah,
which lays heavy on your heart.
It is. But I've got people, it's not just my heart, I've got all my family and my staff and my colleagues, I wouldn't call them staff, my colleagues around me to help fulfill
team.
that. Yeah, our team.
Good, great. Where do you see yourself and your business in 5 years' time?
I hope that as time passes, my family or my children can take more responsibility within the business and let me, I said I won't be like my father, but I can hear, I'm using the same words he would say, fade into the background. I do love it, I do enjoy it, but I don't have to run it, and I don't have to be the person at the top of the tree. However, I want to help somebody, or my family, my children and my family, carry on and take the realms and make sure that it can carry on growing, carry on supporting, and feed and look after everybody. So I see myself as somebody just being there over time until they're confident enough to run it themselves.
What advice would you give to a young person or anyone thinking about starting their own business based on your own experience?
I would say education is important, because you have to have the fundamentals of being able to work things out. It can be a natural skill, but you can also quite a lot be taught how to calculate and how to work things out. There's no simple answer to it, but if you're educated and you've studied, you've probably got the basic formula in how to progress in business, in any business, I feel. Now, going on from there, if you do get into business, it's really being able to network, interface with customers and staff. Politeness and detail is what I believe is one of the easiest ways. I like to think that I can go into any room, in any place, and never feel that I shouldn't be there, because I will try my best to encompass the atmosphere and to be part of the atmosphere. Don't sit in the back and be quiet. Don't be at the front and be the overheard one, although people say I am. But I try not to be that, but just be part of it. Embrace it. Take it on. Don't be afraid to think you can't do it. I believe anybody can do anything they want if they try. And if they don't try, as my father would say, if you work your best, if you try your hardest and you think and plan and do your best, you will be in a better position tomorrow than you were today. And it might not be tomorrow, it might not be next week, it might not be next month, but over the years it will improve, things will improve, but you have to put your effort in and don't give up easily. Giving up, there's plenty of times I could have given up and thrown the bucket and said I'm not doing this anymore, but definitely if you hang on and if you keep trying and keep working hard, it comes through. You know, quality comes through in the end, I believe. You just have to be tenacious about it and keep going.
Yes, and that is a good note to finish on. And Robert, thank you for your insights and words of wisdom for the next generation. We wish you all the very best in the future and hope you will come back soon to the ADF and share more of your success.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'd look forward to coming back again, and not my success, but sharing my history, sharing my father's history with anybody who have got any interest, and if they can use anything that we have said or I've said or we've experienced to help them, that's our pleasure.
Brilliant, thank you. And thank you to our audiences, and if you want to contact us to make a comment about the show, please contact us on the address at the bottom of your screen. Take care and see you soon.